begins in the quaint and quiet town of Hexham in Northumberland, England. There was this husband and wife named John and Florence Pollock, and they also had two daughters. One daughter was named Joanna, who was 11, and the other was Jacqueline, who was 6. Now, they were a very happy family. They were super well off. They had this successful grocery and milk delivery business. Basically, things couldn't have been better. They had this idyllic life, and it was perfect. But then on May 7th, 1957, something very tragic happened. The two girls were on their way to church with a friend of theirs when they were hit by a car driven by a local woman. Basically, this woman had taken an overdose of all this medication, so she was driving erratically and hit their car. The two Pollock children were killed instantly in the accident. And because this was such a horrible accident, it was all over the news and printed everywhere in the newspapers. The father, whose name was John, reported having these constant visions. He was having these visions that his two daughters would be brought back to him in the form of twins. So they would be pretty much reborn, reincarnated. And because his wife did not believe him, they literally almost got divorced over this argument. The wife, Florence, became pregnant the following year. The pregnancy was unexpected, and John kept telling her that it was gonna be twins just like he had in his vision. But they went to the doctor to check on the pregnancy, and the doctor said no, it would only be one child. But when it came time for her to deliver the baby, two babies came out as twins. It baffled the doctors, it baffled Florence, and basically John was like, see? I had this vision. They named these twins Jillian and Jennifer. They had the exact same markings, scars, and birthmarks on their bodies as the sisters who had passed away. One of the twins even had this long white scar over her forehead where Jacqueline had had this bicycle accident. Now, as these twins started growing up, they started having these memories that were really spooking people. As soon as they were old enough to talk, the twins began asking for specific toys that Joanna and Jacqueline had owned. These parents had put all of these toys in boxes in the attic after their kids had passed away because they didn't want to see them anymore, but somehow these twins knew these toys existed and could even call each doll by their name. Even more strange was that the two twins liked the same foods that Joanna and Jacqueline had liked. They had the same personalities, the same mannerisms, the same body builds. They liked the same games. They would even point out to scars on their bodies and say how they got them. They were even said to be terrified of passing cars, to the point that it was difficult to even get them to cross the street.